someone looking into the abuse. And this is a common theme that I've been noticing. So I'm really glad to be able to let this dynamic play out, and document it. It's like everything goes to show you, okay, let's talk about my court. So I went to court in Cook County, and they gave me traffic school, and I have to pay $145 and some other stuff. And the reason specifically that I didn't bring up the PTSD or anything like that at the court date is because the judge gave me the option to just have it off my record if I pay this money and do the traffic school. So that's also a common theme. Maybe not exactly with trauma, but a lot of people, they get a deal or whatever, and when I say deal, I mean like the judge or the court will be like, all right, if you do this, then it's off your record and you just have to pay the money. So then the fear that we feel, or maybe lack of money to pay for a lawyer, even if the crime committed was not in fact our crime or our error, we feel compelled to just go ahead and say, yes, we'll take it, because whatever they decided on seemed better than whatever we're fearing. And in some cases, that may be an irrational fear. It may be that if we just continued to speak the truth and go back to court time after time after time and explain to the judge what's going on, that the judge would listen and we would be okay. But there's that little percentage, or maybe more than little percentage, as a lot of people know, that it won't be resolved, especially if you cannot afford an attorney. So we just quickly say, yes, okay, I'll accept that, but we don't further explain the cause. And I think that has a lot to do with the reason why a lot of policies don't work, because so many of us are just like, okay, fine, I'll take it, instead of being like, judge, actually, this is what went on, and the reason why it went on was this. And if we just communicate with each other and we explain, and we're all coming from a place of wanting to understand the other party rather than wanting to convince the other party to accept what we're saying as truth. Like, just throw both opinions up in the air as who cares if they're true or false, and just come from a place of understanding, period. Like, that's the only way to understand, and you have to understand if you're going to find solutions to problems. Otherwise, you're solving a problem that you don't even know you're solving, or is not the problem that needs to be solved. It's such a beautiful day, guys. It's so windy. How are you guys doing? Hi. Also, I was trying to call some tech security companies about my phone. I don't know if you guys saw my story a few nights ago. They took me, the navigation while I was driving DoorDash kept taking me to the cemetery. And after all the threats on my life and like random stuff that's been going on, it's just like so, I don't know, uncomfortable. Oh, here we are at the cemetery. I'm supposed to be at Wingstop. Seems legit. So crazy. But yeah, so my phone's been having issues, and I tried calling all these tech security companies, 4 or 5 of them, and they're not going through to tech security companies. Isn't that weird? The calls are literally being diverted the same way that they were when I was trying to report the abuse last year, and so many other times. But this time I had it all recorded, the number that I dialed, the number that it diverted to, so now all I have to do is bring it in. And we're not doing this here. We're doing this out of state. But, Maine. Ooh, I would love to go to Maine. I've never been there. I heard they have really delicious, my friend, when I went on vacation, well, he's not really my friend. I call everyone my friend. It's a guy who I met who was living in like the Airbnb next to my Airbnb. That guy has a dope hoodie. That place, he told me about some really good seafood in Maine. That's what's up. But fact of the matter is, you can't divert someone's calls. You can't withhold someone's free will. You can't, control someone in that regard. It's a clear violation of human rights. And this whole time, you guys, this is so crazy. Listen and understand me. I thought I was the only one. Like, it's not narcissism because I'm always thinking about other people, always. But I just thought, this is so crazy. Like, how is this happening? If this is happening, in fact, to so many people, why is it not, like, common knowledge? How come more people don't talk about it? Like, what is it really? And so now I'm just learning that these human rights violations are, like, an ongoing issue, and they've been going on for a while, and it's extremely oppressive, and it does, affect and impact more Black people than other races, but it definitely impacts other races as well. And I think I need to go on record as saying that I think this is 100% about social inequality rather than like race. And no, racism exists, do not get me wrong. But at this point in the game, they don't care what color you are. It's just about whether or not you have enough money and resources to defend yourself against the lies that they're going to tell about you. And I'm not really for that business at all, in any way, shape, or form. Like, people need help, Yeah, it is really odd. Yeah, I mean, the point is, no, I really don't know. I think that the point is, if I get too stable, that I can start speaking on things that they really don't want me to speak on. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to stop speaking. So they're going to have to kill me. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. It's not, they do all these, like, indirect threats and, like, coercions and extortions, and it's just not okay. You can't do that to people. You can't set people up. You can't stalk people for years. You can't ignore their cries for help and then at the same time ask to be respected, as an authority or as, like, a governing body. You have to hear the people and hear them crying. Like, it hurts me. It hurts. I hear it. I see it. These people are being controlled and like forced around, and it's not okay. I know. The craziest part is that I don't feel like we can blame it totally on the government, because that's so broad, that who is the government? The government is just a way of, like, putting blame somewhere where no one has to take accountability. So, like, I don't even want to blame the government. I don't even want to blame anyone. I just want to talk about exactly what's going on and how we can get it to stop, or how we can change it, and manipulate it in a way that's going to be beneficial to everyone involved. Everyone wants the same thing, in the sense that we all just want to, like, live freely. Like, free will is the most important thing to most people. When you ask people, what's going on, at the end of the day, most of our problems can easily be solved, and they might upset us for a moment, but we can overcome them. Having your free will withheld from you, being controlled, being forced to do things that you don't want to do, and being taken advantage of and exploited is not okay. It's not okay at all. And we always learn these lessons: two wrongs don't make a right, and all these little cliches that we learn growing up. But then when you hit the real world as an adult, it's not even like that. Like, if you believe those things, you get run over, and I'm, like, living proof of that. I truly had, like, these very naive beliefs 5-6 years ago, before I really, like, learned what life was about and, like, what goes on in the streets. Like, it was just, I believed I had that naive, like, mindset, and I really feel like that should be the reality. Like, we should be more morally and ethically responsible to ourselves and to each other. But mostly, like, once you get a little bit of power, you have to be so careful with it. You can never forget, where you came from or who these people are. If someone is looking into my eyes, like, I can feel their pain, I can feel their struggle, and I can feel, like, this just unsettled, restless soul And I hate that. Like, I hate that so much. Everyone deserves to feel happy and free and, breathe. Everyone deserves to breathe. But I'm just here. Every blaming straws on killing turtles, and there's so much like straws killing them. Exactly, empathy, absolutely. What am I going through? Well, I've been sexually assaulted multiple times. Every Airbnb that I check into since being thrown out of my apartment last year, there has been, not every Airbnb, but I would say about 2/3 of them, there has been a sexual assault taking place. I set up surveillance cameras that are motion activated through my computer system and that run on Wi-Fi, and the Wi-Fi was intercepted every single time that I set it up. My phone's being cloned. When I try to make certain calls, they're being diverted. All my social media accounts have been hacked numerous times. My identity has been stolen numerous times, and none of these problems are easy problems to fix. There is no quick, here's the answer, let me snap my fingers and everything is all good, but there should be some answers. And I have not gotten really anywhere, and I have called hundreds, without exaggeration, hundreds and hundreds of places, and people. And the abuse has been reported in so many different capacities that it's not even funny. Like, I've literally been yelling out, like, I need help, this is happening. And again, I'm not here to blame anyone or say, like, why aren't the police helping? Why isn't the government helping? Why aren't the streets helping? Because there is no one easy solution to any one of these problems, but there are solutions, and progress does need to be made a little bit. And everyone needs to start taking responsibility for their portion in stuff, and, doing a little more. Like, in the west suburbs right now, you guys, the water, it is crazy. The water is literally, I don't know, it's like grimy. I boiled it in 3 cities, Lombard, Villa Park, and Elmhurst. And it's like, there's this big white residue on the bottom of the pot when I'm done boiling the water. Like, where does that come from? What is in this water here? And there's all these other little shady things going on too, And there's lots of different reasons it could be happening. It could be happening because of, people want to scare people, or people want real estate that they have, or, there are so many different motivations to corruption in every capacity, corruption in every, profession. I'm not here to really try to understand why it's happening. At this point, I'm just gathering information on what exactly is happening so that I can keep, record, because when stuff like this goes on, in your heart, you just hope that it's not intentional, and that it's not malicious, and that it's just something simple like a mistake, or, a pipe broke, or, an accidental something. But unfortunately, as time passes, and again, we're going over a year now, and as I gather more information, it seems like a lot of these things that are going on in my life and around me, to others, are not an accident. So I can't really say much more than that, just because the more, I say, the more of a target I become. But we're definitely on the job and figuring it out and checking things out. So if you guys ever see me roaming through your neighborhood, just know that, no, I'm not moving. Chicago is my home, so it's not going to happen, period. It's just not going to happen. I have a lot of friends here, and people who live here who don't have the financial resources to just pick up and move, and so I just decided that until I'm able to find resolution, I will be sleeping in my car out in public. I won't be getting any more Airbnbs. And, unless someone is real ballsy, they're really not going to be able to sexually assault me sleeping outdoors in a Walmart parking lot. So I read online that it's legal to sleep in a Walmart parking lot, and that's what I'll be doing, moving forward. So, yeah, my ex is still here. I think. I really don't know, honestly. You guys are the only ones who ask me questions about him, and I know that's because of the show and everything. But to be honest, he's really a non-factor in my life. I try not to ever even think about him or consider him at all whenever possible because, there's just a lot of unhealed trauma that's still there. I don't get into relationships with people that I don't care about, a lot. So as hard as I love, it just hurts the same amount when they, do something that hurts you, and that goes vice versa. I've been in some really dark places myself, and I've been really mean to him, and I have apologized to him, but I've never gotten an apology from him. And I think that anytime I'm asked to talk about him or think about, the situation, I get, I don't want to say I regress in my healing because I'm definitely not regressing, but I do have a little period of time where I kind of revisit the issue and open the old wounds that were already beginning to heal. So it's there's no point in doing that. I prefer to move forward and focus on bigger issues like what is going on in Chicago and in other parts of the world. So that's really what I'm focused on right now, how I can help my community, how I can help the people around me. And for right now, it seems like the best thing I can do is to just keep on being observant and being a voice and documenting and collaborating and that's it. I want to help in any way that I can, and I think that's the best way that I can help right now. So yeah, but anyways, please don't talk about him thinking negative. No, I don't think negative about him at all. I don't think about him. Sometimes I think about him, randomly, or when you guys bring him up, and I have plenty of amazing, memories with him. But I don't think about him really at all. It's only when you guys start asking me, and I wish him the best with with whatever situation he has going on, and that's it. He is what he is, and he is, not going to change for me or for you or for anyone but himself. So I love him for the experience that he provided me with, and the time that I spent with him. He was really there for me in a lot of ways, so I'm very grateful. But I'm moving on with my life, I'm moving on, and I have a bigger purpose than serving his needs. I want to, like I said, I want to help the people, and I want the people to be safe and happy, and I'm not leaving Chicago, because I'm being chased out by some who knows what kind of a scumbag. No, I'm not. I'm a good person. I care about people. That's it. That's all that matters. And I don't know, that's it. So yeah. And so I want you guys to please, COVID BS that's going on, it's picking up again. Go get a vaccination if you can. I'm going to go get a vaccination for sure. There's also a vaccination for PTSD called Stella. I also applied for a job there as an executive assistant. I'm triple crossing my fingers. I really, really, really want to be involved in that so badly. A cure for PTSD. That's so fantastic. Because I've developed so many coping skills with the PTSD and ways to self-soothe that I share with you guys. The aromatherapies, the counting, engaging all of the senses, distracting yourself, etc. But it does still get, it still pops up. It creeps up from time to time. It creeps up. Am I homeless? No, I'm not homeless. So I've been living in Airbnbs and hotels for the last year. I've been working DoorDash and doing some other projects, focusing on getting healthy, mind, body, and soul, hitting the gym. But I'm sleeping in my car because I'm being sexually assaulted repeatedly. I've been really doing, a lot of work, taking good documentation, and this, like I said, like I've been saying, it's going to come around, and until I can assure myself that I'm safe, sleeping in I haven't slept in my car yet, but beginning tonight, I will be sleeping in my car. I've only slept in my car like 4 times over the last year other than that. All the rest of the time, I get an Airbnb or crash on a friend's couch, or my aunt. You guys, I saw Aunt Diane. She's doing great. I cooked her dinner the other night, so that was awesome. She says hi to everyone. Aunt Diane actually went into the hospital. If you guys don't mind, I'd prefer not to give you guys too much detail on the assaults. It's not really a safe situation for me to discuss right now, because I don't have an exact, I've just been advised not to discuss it publicly until the person is apprehended. So we're going to skip past that. But Aunt Diane got a heart attack, a small one, or some sort of cardiac event. I'm not really sure exactly what it was, because she totally grazed right over that part of the story, so that she could get to the part where when she was in the hospital, the doctors and the aunts were like, "Oh my God, you're famous." Oh, Tesla. I love the Tesla, you guys. Love it. Sorry, I get so distracted. Yeah, she's like, "Oh my God, everyone recognized me. They said I'm a movie star." She was so happy. And you know what I say? All the abuse that I've endured as a result of the show, all of the harassment, all of the slander, all of the everything, upsetting my PTSD, disrupting my mental health, all of that is worth it to see that woman so happy. You guys, Aunt Diane was so happy. She really loved that they recognized her. And so a special shout out to the doctors and nurses that gave Aunt Diane some love. If you guys ever see Aunt Diane, she doesn't really go outside, but if you ever do see her, say hi to her, because she was just absolutely could not have been more excited and happy that they recognized her from the show. Me, on the other hand, I could do without it. I could do without it, for sure. But again, it was worth it to see her happy and excited. She's adorable. Yes, thank you guys so much for that. And my mom is having a lot of health issues too, and that's another thing that I'm noticing popping up are these health issues, in trends. So I'm tracking all of this, and again, I don't want to go too deep into what I'm discussing, because that's how you create enemies, as I found out time and time again. But there are trends in certain illnesses, spikes in certain illnesses, and there are also trends, in various factors, demographic factors, in the populations of people who are becoming inflicted with those illnesses. So I'm working on that also. Other than that, I've just been, cruising around, driving DoorDash, seeing the kids, trying not to die, having a breakdown once every 3 days, I'd say. A mental little cry it out for an hour or two. I'm in a really good vibe right now. It's not always like this, for sure. There are very, very dark moments. I'm telling you guys, after I wake up and my private area is all swollen and painful, and I'm literally in excruciating pain and groggy and can barely focus my eyes or walk, that's when I realized that they have used GHB, and you guys all need to know this because this is a pretty common occurrence. GHB is the date rape drug. You cannot taste it if it's mixed in a beverage, and they have other ways of concealing it. That's what they're using when they assault me. And there are mornings that I'll wake up and it'll happen, and I'll be so torn up, I will literally just start screaming at a stranger for no reason. I'm not okay, and I can't keep reaching out for help from the police with no physical evidence. And that's like the worst part of it all, is the pain to relive a sexual assault or to discuss a sexual assault even once. It's awful, but to have to do it over and over and over and then be called a liar or crazy or, and the police, it's not that they don't believe me. It's not the police calling me liar or crazy. It's just the people here mostly on Insta. And not most of the people. Most of the people who I talk to and who follow me have been following me for a long time, and they know me and they know my personality and they know, that I'm a very credible person and they know how I am. I'm just very real. What you see is kind of what you get type of deal. But the people who, followed from the show and took that whole attitude that I was crazy, they apply that to everything that goes on in my life, and that creates a very dangerous situation, because then when bad things are happening and they're saying that, it's like, why would you discredit my experience, especially when it's an abusive experience that other people can be falling victim to as well? Like, why don't we put a stop to this and, keep people safe and discuss what's going on rather than just mask it with a crazy Band-Aid, so to speak. But yeah, I'll lose it. I'm not always good vibes, and I'm not always like in the best place. I do get really sad. I do feel really hopeless. I do feel really confused a lot of the time, but I can't stop. I can't stop. There's no stopping, Gotta keep going. That's the only thing. I'm not going to allow anyone to be in my videos at this time, just because everyone who I've chosen to interact with, literally every single person that has come through my phone or message asking me for an interview, with the exception of the interview that I did with 2 people that's up, you guys have seen, it's always been like a trap, like a trick, something crazy, like they're doing awful things, like they're saying nonsense or like making me cry. Like that one girl, did you guys see that one interview? What was her name? Sparkle or like Dash or like, no, what the hell was her name? I think it was like, I don't know, Dash, who knows? Regardless, whatever her name was, she was real mean, you guys. She called me and she's like, did you know your ex got locked up again? And it was the day that Dylan got locked up. And I was crying because it was just shocking to me. Like, I don't want to see anyone in prison. You know what I mean? Like, that hurts my soul, like, tremendously. Like, but at the same time, like, I was happy, that, like, I was safe. And, like, at that time, I was still questioning if it was him and what was going on, so with the abuse and stuff. So regardless of all of that, I was shaken up and super, super emotional. And she asked me for an interview. And I told her, I can't do the interview right now. I'm so anxious. And she's like, that's okay, no problem. Like, I'll be here for you, like, as a friend. And I start, like, pouring my heart out to this girl. And then she goes, oh, and by the way, we're live. And I'm like, wow, how rude. Rude. So rude. It wasn't Sarah. Sarah was a doll. And it wasn't Uncle Vicky. I love Uncle Vicky. And it wasn't Tracy either. It was like Sparkle, I want to say, or like Dashes. It was like a fun name, like a fun girly, like, she doesn't have that large of a following. It's on YouTube, you guys. Go look for it. It's there somewhere. I don't know. I didn't listen to it. I just know from, like, the fans in my inbox and the supporters, because so many of you, I know I like, talk about people calling me crazy sometimes, but I also want to thank all of you that are, like, supportive, because I don't do that enough. So thank you guys so much. All of you, especially since, like, the beginning, and it was, like, public scrutiny, like, Heather this, Heather that. And thousands of negative comments to every one positive comment. So the ones who have been, like, supportive in any way, you guys are amazing, and I am so appreciative. And that number has grown a lot since some of Dylan's antics have come out. He's always doing shenanigans, and so more people, like, were compassionate to my situation. That's actually the time that I started becoming compassionate to his situation, because it's like, it just felt deeper, like what is going on over there? Who even knows? So all I know is from where I'm sitting right here, it looks absolutely beautiful. I am healing like a boss. I am growing like a boss. I am doing my yoga. I am working out like a boss. I am eating healthy most of the time, like kind of a boss. You know, that's it. I'm tired of all of your bullshit.